everybody. If you're watching this enrollment meeting presentation for the first time, welcome. If you were at the meeting Thursday evening, welcome back. I'll be going over the same information, but maybe it'll be easier to watch instead of me pointing my camera at the computer on Zoom because I was having technical difficulties. Welcome, future travelers. So before we get started, if you could sign in for me, even if you're attending this like post meeting, I'm sending you in the email, I'm sending you some links. So if you could sign in for me using this sign in link, it should take you to a page that looks like this. Oh, my poor computer. It needs to be updated. Slow. Go ahead and just sign in for me and then stop here until the end of the meeting, and then that's when you'll click next, and that's when you can ask any questions, and I'll look over those questions and get back to you. So we're going to Japan. We're going on the Experience Japan tour. There's a couple different ones that go to Japan, but this one is about experiencing Japan. It's a 10-day trip, and we're going in June of 2022. I'm going to cover safety and our EF partnership, travel plans and our tour itinerary, what students gain from travel, what's included and what's not, price and dates to mark in your calendar, and then how to enroll and submit questions. About me, my name is Kelly Aragon. I've been teaching at Chatfield since 2015. It's honestly the best school ever. I love teaching there, and I have the best students. I teach photography and jewelry. I teach both darkroom and digital photography. And why I believe in travel. Well, when I was in high school, no one ever invited me to go on an international trip. I don't even think it was like in my realm of like knowledge or consciousness that like people did this. But I know it now that it did happen. It wasn't until I was in college when I was about to graduate, or I was close to graduating, and I wasn't going to be able to take enough classes to finish my minor in art history and graduate on time, because I had taken so many classes, I wasn't about to give up my minor at that point, that my advisor said, why don't you travel abroad? Or study abroad, rather. And so I before she said that, I never thought that was a possibility for me. And then I started looking into programs, and it just really opened my eyes to what's out there. And I chose to study abroad in Rome, and it really changed me, like studying abroad, going abroad. I was a little older. I was 26, but it just really like changed my trajectory of in life. And I think it's an incredible growth opportunity for students. I wish I had done it sooner than I did. I waited till I was 20. Well, I left when I was 25 and I came home when I was 26, but it allowed me to grow so much as a person, become more independent. Even though I was like in my mid 20s, I was, still, didn't have the confidence that I have now. So here's some pictures from my 2017 trip that I took with students to Italy. I was about 7 months pregnant when I took these students, and we had the most amazing time experiencing Italy. We got to do really fun things, like we did a watercolor class in the park. This was a tour of the Roman Forum. You can see all the ruins behind the group here. We had the most excellent tour guide in the Vatican museums. I've been on many tours of the Vatican museums, and he was just such a great guide, and my students got to experience that, and I'm so happy. We did a cooking class where we learned how to cook Italian food. We visited the Colosseum, and here's a picture of us on the airplane. It was just a blast. So why are we planning for 2022 travel now? Well, I don't know about you, but I think everyone really just needs something to look forward to. It's been such a hard year, like thinking back over the past year, who would have thought that we would be living through a global pandemic and how much things would have changed, especially for our students. I have young preteens and teens that are in middle school, and they've just missed out on so much this year, whether it's just hanging out with friends, birthday parties, all of those things, outdoor lab. They didn't really get that experience. It was different. And so I think it's really important to give our students, our kids, something to look forward to. And this is an opportunity to connect with a world that feels really distant and remote right now. I know right now Japan's still not letting people in, especially they have said they're not letting visitors come to the 2021 Olympics. But things will change by next year, and we'll be able to connect again with a place that feels so far away. And the reason why we're planning for it now is to be able to spread your payments over a longer period of time instead of paying a big chunk up front. It's nicer to be able to pay it in installments so that you have that flexibility with your budget. So EF, I travel with EF, and there's a reason that I travel with them. They're our educational travel and safety partner. They have over 55 years of experience. Most kids in middle school and high school that go on an educational trip go with EF. They have staff on the ground 365 days a year in over 50 countries. They're a world leader in international education. They have multiple different types of programs, whether it's travel for Girl Scouts. They have go-ahead tours, which are for graduated people. They have tours for adults. They have so many different types of models of tours. And so they're really a world leader in international education and international touring. And they're accredited just like our school. So our school has an accreditation, and EF does too. And you have the opportunity to earn high school credit. All you have to do is do a project, submit it to EF, and they give you high school credit, which then you can transfer to Chatfield as an elective credit, and it's one less credit you need to take to graduate. Other nearby schools that travel with EF, so there are partner schools around, well, I don't know if you say partner or rival, but Columbine and Dakota both travel with EF. A little further away, Lakewood and Devlin and Green Mountain. And if you can look at this map and see all those pink dots, those are all the schools that travel with EF in the Denver metro area. So I trust them. All these other schools trust them. And I also trust them because of their safety. So safety on tour, they have local support and insight. Every EF group has a dedicated personal tour director. So there is a person, a bilingual person who knows the area, who will know Japanese, how to get around, all of those things, who probably lives in Japan, who is our tour director. They're with us 24/7, and they're there for anything, whether you need to go to the pharmacy and get some allergy medication, they can help translate and be your interpreter, or just tell you where to go, a good spot to go to for lunch. They arrange everything for us. They also have a safety and incident response team, enhanced safety precautions and procedures. And for every 6 travelers who enroll, a group chaperone spot is allocated. So right now we have 15 travelers going on our trip. So we'll have myself and one other chaperone. The teacher who teaches the photo teacher at Dakota Ridge is going to go with us. And I've traveled with her before, and she's an amazing teacher, and she travels with her own students too. So she knows what's going on. And then, they support our safety policies that we have here at Chatfield, whether that, just reinforcing what's okay at school and what's not okay at school. They support those safety policies. And so this quote really just sums it up. Whether a student loses a passport on tour and the EF emergency hotline is needed to provide assistance, or most recently because of COVID-19, EF Tours has prioritized our travelers' safety experience at the heart of their actions. So I would say that this is totally 100% true. EF has canceled tours over the past year and a half, just because it's not safe to travel. And instead of like trying, and you can't really travel, but they were canceling tours before it was like travel was banned, because it wasn't safe for us to travel at that time. And so instead of worrying about, money, they were worried about the safety of the travelers. So with EF, you can book with confidence. So they have the Peace of Mind program. This is built into every EF tour. It provides groups with flexibility to change the dates and destination of our tour in uncertain times. So if we decided Japan, if something were to happen and Japan became a hotspot for civil unrest and we decided not to go to Japan, which I doubt that would happen because the Japanese are very peaceful people. But if that did happen and we decided we didn't want to go to Japan, we could choose somewhere else to go. I doubt that will happen. They also have the global travel protection, and this is actually built into the price of our tour. I have required that everyone sign up for this. It provides both pre-departure and post-departure benefits. So this would protect you in case you couldn't travel due to injury or illness. You would be able to regain your investment. I did have a student who almost had to use this in 2017. After graduation, he went surfing, like sand surfing at the sand dunes, and fell pretty badly and had to be airlifted to the local hospital there. Luckily, he just had a concussion and he fractured his arm, so he was okay, and he actually still got to go on the trip with us. But could he? If the situation was different and he wouldn't have been able to go, he would have been able to get his money back. And they have a new insurance policy called Global Travel Protection Plus, which adds a cancel for any reason whatsoever option through 1 day prior to departure, where you can recoup most of your investment minus the cost of the insurance and the enrollment, the $95 enrollment fee, which I'll talk about at the end of the presentation. So our itinerary, what we'll see, what we'll do, eat, and experience. So I'm really excited. So as you can see, we don't go all over Japan, but we hit a lot of the major sites. So we go to Osaka, Kyoto, Takayama, Kanazawa, and Tokyo. So this link for our itinerary, you can find it right here. It says check out our itinerary. And it brings you to this PDF, which gives things in detail. My computer's really riding the struggle bus. It's really slow. I apologize. Anyway, I'll let that load while I go back to my presentation here. So some of the things that we're going to see are the Golden Palace in Kyoto, the Bamboo Forest, the Fushimi Inari Shrine, and obviously we're going to see Tokyo, which I'm super excited about. I can't imagine what it looks like. I mean, I can imagine. I've been to New York Times, like Times Square in New York, but I can imagine it's like that times 10. Some of the highlights are that we'll be going to Osaka's Canal Street, which I hear they have really good street food there. We're going to go shopping in the Harajuku district where all the cool cat cafes are and all the cool vending machines. Apparently you can buy anything from a vending machine. We're going to do a traditional Japanese tea ceremony. We're going to experience some of their most famous and beloved temples, participate in a gold leaf chopstick activity where you get to take the chopsticks home with you. We'll enjoy a Zen meditation experience and visit the Kanazawa Castle. So those are just some of the highlights, and you can find those here on the itinerary that finally loaded. Yeah, so it goes into detail about what each day might look like. So what's really cool about travel is that your student will come home changed. Students who travel expand their knowledge of the world around them. They discover more about themselves. They grow more confident and independent, and they come to understand more about the new people, places, and cultures. We live in this globally connected world, yet it seems so far away. And I feel like when you experience travel, even it's different when you're with your parents than when you do it they won't be alone. Obviously, they'll be with me, but it kind of forces them to be more independent, to be problem solvers, and to become citizens of the world. So I'm going to play a video for you about a student who traveled abroad, and it really impacted her life.
I remember being on Santa Cruz Island in the Galapagos. We were about halfway through the trip, and I kind of just got this feeling, and it was something that I had never experienced before. But it was just a feeling of excitement and peace, and this is exactly what I was meant to do. And I know it sounds silly at such a young age, I was only 16, but something told me this is what you're meant to do. And I didn't know how or why or what, but I knew that travel was supposed to be a part of my life. How did you feel when I told you I wanted to go on Mrs. Nicklin's first trip?
The first thought in my head was, no way am I sending you halfway around the world by yourself with anyone other than myself. Any parent's worst nightmare is, God forbid, something should happen to your child. But putting all of that aside and listening to you and knowing what you felt that you could get out of traveling, that's the most important thing.
As soon as I came back from my first trip, I decided to take in other perspectives that I hadn't noticed before. I gave more chances. I just learned to forgive, and I became such a better global citizen. And I realized that I had such potential for having an impact on the world.
I think after seeing the world and seeing all the good that you can do, I certainly think that pushed you forward to go into the career and the major that you are going into now.
So I know that everyone's been dying to know, and I just wanted to let you guys know that I got something in the mail today, and I'm going to Arcadia, class of 2023. So I found my current college, Arcadia University, and they are nationally ranked for study abroad. And I'm really looking forward to trying to get into the Peace Corps. So I can definitely thank travel for not only just changing my job route, but also changing my life, honestly. When you're in a new place and you don't know anything around you, you can't just take things for granted. And I think that's what makes me feel so empowered and so motivated to take a more active role in making the world a better place. It's just being open to trying new things and hearing new perspectives. I just think back to all the times when I was so involved in the moment, and I just try to be like that every day. I have one last question for you, and that is, are you proud of me?
I'm so very proud of you. One of my most proud moments were when you came back from your trip and the stories that you told me of the things that you saw, that it wasn't, just a landmark. It was experiencing the culture and appreciating the culture. And that showed me how much you have grown as a person. And that makes me very proud.
Love you.
I'm not sure why that video, it kind of makes me tear up when the mom starts talking about her daughter's experience, just because I think it's awesome and I want that for my kids too. Okay, so personal learning. So that was like, what students gain, growth and, confidence. But personal learning, they can also earn high school credit with a personal project. It's like a video that you would make about your experience. You ask a question before you go on tour. And then while you're on tour, you explore that question that you asked, you make a video and you submit it for high school credit. And that can be really cool because then it's one less class you have to take your senior year. or, whatever. You can earn college credit. You can complete college level work to earn 3 credits through a partner university, and I'll talk about that cost in a few slides. And then the college applications, you can use your tour to inspire a personal essay that will make you stand out from the crowd when you apply to college. So our trip will be a group travel trip, meaning EF will pair us up with a group from another state, maybe 1 or 2 groups, depending on how big the groups are, which means more friendships for a more affordable price. So this is to keep the tour affordable. Our group will be combined with another school or 2. Closer to departure, we'll be paired with a group who has similar dates and destination. And then it's a great opportunity to meet students from another part of the country. On my last trip I did in 2019, I had students from Wisconsin and Kentucky, I think. Yeah. And by the end of the trip, everybody was friends. It was great. So I had my EF tour consultant do the math, and this is the numbers he came up with. If you tried to book this tour on your own, it would be more expensive, more stressful, and a different experience. I mean, I don't speak Japanese and the alphabet is different. I wouldn't do this trip without EF, just because I'm adventurous, but I don't know if I'm that adventurous. But a single flight, so flights are really expensive right now, just because of the way the airline industry has been over the last year and a half. Flights are, I don't know if you've looked, but they're getting really expensive. So an average flight would be about $2,328. If you were to book for a family of 4, you'd be spending almost $10,000 on flights. Similar hotels to the ones we would stay at in Osaka, Kyoto, Takayama, Kanazawa, and Tokyo for 8 nights in June would be about $66 a night, because the hotels, like the flights are expensive, but the hotels are cheap right now because the hotel industry has really suffered, and so they've lowered their prices to get more people to stay. So that would be about $528 a room. If you were doing 2 rooms, that'd be an additional $1,000 for a family of 4. And then to have private licensed day guides, and that's just 9 days at 3 hours a day, that's $1,755 total. These are all the times where we're going to have a day guide to help us understand what we're looking at and seeing. So in Osaka, Kyoto, Takayama, Kanazawa, and Tokyo, we'll have a day guide for each one of those cities. That doesn't include having a 24/7 tour director with us for the entirety of the trip, who meets us at the airport and drops us off at the airport. So if you were to book this on your own, just for flights, hotels, and day guides for one person, it would be about $4,600. That's not our tour price, but just keep that in mind, because our tour also includes more than just flights, hotels, and day guides. Our tour includes round-trip airfare, safe quality hotel rooms, full-time professional tour director, 24/7, on-tour ground transportation, so like all of the buses and trains that will take us where we need to go, educational itinerary built by experts, guided tours and activities, including our special private karaoke evening in Tokyo, breakfast and dinner each day. It doesn't include lunch, because that's the time when students, when travelers, that's their time to figure out what they want to do and what they want to eat, whether they want to go get conveyor belt sushi or they want to go to the convenience store. I heard like their 7-Eleven type stores have really good food. So whether they want to do that or just grab street food and eat it as they're walking around, it's up to them. That's their time to explore and eat what they want to. 24/7 on-tour assistance, local traveler support team in Denver, a tour donation page, which is like a GoFundMe page. It also includes project-based learning program where you can earn high school credit, the Uncommon App College Essay Toolkit. You get a travel backpack, which is pretty cool. This includes the $200 early enrollment discount, because we're enrolling over a year before we leave. The global travel protection, And then the things that you'll cover, not included, are the passport fees. We don't need a visa to go to Japan as of right now, but we do need a passport. Spending money, so any souvenir money that you might need. Lunches and snacks, again, so lunches aren't included because that's the time when you get to branch off on your own and decide what you want to eat, whether that's Japanese McDonald's or sushi. Tips. So we tip our tour guides because they do an amazing job and they deserve it. It's $10 a day per traveler, so $100 per traveler. College credit, which is optional, that's $215 for 3 credit hours through our partner college. And if you look in the links, it says more about how to earn credit. You can learn more there. I don't know if you looked at the price of college, but $215 for 3 credits is really, 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 really cheap. And then the Global Travel Protection Plus, which is an additional $295. So there's making it happen. There's some flexible payment options for you guys. You can do bi-monthly payments, $185 2 times a month, and that's after the $95 deposit. $369 monthly. So like this is the most common option that people do. It really just splits the total price up into more affordable payments. You can do pay in full, which is $4,515 paying in full, and these all include the $200 discount and $95 deposit. And then there's also manual payment options, which include additional restrictions and fees. I think it's about $50 to enroll in manual payment, but with manual payment, you can pay in chunks as they come to you, whether your student has a job and earns money, saves up money, and then pays it in chunks, or, if you have a commission-based job where you earn your money as you complete, jobs, like I'm thinking real estate agent, but, however you want to pay through manual payment. It just needs to be paid up to the balance needs to be paid 90 days prior to departure, or 120 days actually. So, but adults can travel too. So if you're thinking this is something you want to do with your student, same easy payment options are available, but the total price for adults is $5,015. It's a little bit more expensive because adults don't receive that student discount that EF is able to negotiate for the under 21 people. We also have EF also offers this new thing called a Global Citizen Scholarship. You can submit an application for a needs and merit-based scholarship. You submit a 2 to 3 minute video about what this trip why you would benefit from this trip. And they are giving out 100 $1,000 scholarships. So that would take $1,000 off your price if you were awarded that scholarship, which I think is really awesome that they're doing that. It's new. You also get the customizable tour donation page, which is like a GoFundMe page, and you can set your donations to be like $20, help me out with $20 to go on my trip to Japan. You can send this to friends, family, and loved ones this is great for birthday presents or Christmas presents because, I don't know, teenagers are really hard to shop for. I feel like I always end up giving my teenager money because I don't know what she wants. And then the early enrollment discount is a $200 discount if you enroll before the deadline. So our trip is actually a little bit more expensive, but we're adding in that discount. Okay, so marking your calendars. We'll be traveling sometime between Monday, June 6th and June 23rd of 2022. So some 1 10-day stretch between those 2 dates. This is the earliest day we'll leave. That's the latest day we could return. They give us this bumper on each side of our 10-day tour just because we're going to do that group travel thing. So they're going to try to pair us with other groups that are requesting the same tour around the same time. They'll meet us halfway and then they'll pick our 10-day trip within that time frame. So if you're scheduling any big family reunions next summer or any big vacations or anything like that, I would say don't plan on doing anything before or after June 6th from June 6th to June 23rd. I would plan it after June 23rd or before June 6th. So it's time to enroll. You can secure your spot with a $95 deposit. I only have 6 spots available. The enrollment deadline is Friday, May 21st, so next Friday at 10 p.m. Our enrollment link, it's in the links. I'm going to put it again in the link, or you can use your phone and scan that QR code to get to the enrollment page. It's an online page where you would just enter your information and just choose your payment plan. And then you're enrolled to go on our trip to Japan next summer. There's an exit survey here. It's the end of that survey. So the one I had you guys click on at the beginning of the presentation, if you could please do the next part. And then that's when you can ask any questions, or you can just email me questions if you have any about the trip and coming to Japan with us next summer. Thanks for listening. I hope that you are able to travel with us.